The rise of the Hounds of Destruction. Welcome back, wrestling fans, to Wrestling News CC, where we break down the biggest moments, unravel the most shocking storylines, and give you the inside scoop on everything WWE. Strap in for today's monumental breakdown, because we are about to dive into a night that will forever be etched into the annals of WWE history. The WWE Universe has seen betrayals. It has seen alliances. It has seen chaos, shock, and disbelief. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared the world for what just took place on the latest episode of WWE. In one single night, the very foundation of this company shifted. In one furious, unpredictable ambush, the course of WWE history was rewritten. A new force was born, not out of strategy, not out of ambition, but out of necessity, rage, and redemption. A group no one saw coming. A brotherhood forged in battle. A storm that calls itself the Hounds of Destruction. It all began with pain. Jey Uso lay helpless in the ring, crushed by a brutal double assault. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, two men united by dominance and hunger, stood over him like jackals. Jey, once loyal to the bloodline, once a cornerstone of WWE's future, had been reduced to nothing more than prey in the eyes of men who had no mercy. And by their side stood Paul Heyman. The so-called wise man. The architect of empires. A man who once manipulated Roman Reigns, who once whispered power into the ears of those who ruled WWE. Now, Heyman grinned like a man who had conquered once more. But fate had other plans. Just when Heyman raised his hand, just when Seth and Braun prepared to put the final nail in the coffin of Jey Uso's body and career, a voice echoed through the arena. A sound that brought the WWE Universe to its feet. Sami Zayn's music hit. The crowd erupted with a mixture of joy and confusion. Sami, who himself had been targeted and brutalized by this same faction just 1 week earlier, charged down the ramp with the fury of a man possessed. But he wasn't alone. That was the shocker. He wasn't alone. In a moment that will go down in the annals of WWE lore, two figures emerged behind him. Two forces whose legacies were carved in war, betrayal, and passion. Roman Reigns and CM Punk. The tribal chief. The voice of the voiceless. Men who had once stood on opposite sides of chaos, now standing side by side, ready to unleash an unstoppable force. This was not just a surprise. This was a declaration. The Hounds of Destruction were born. And they had come for blood. The betrayal and rise of the new force. To truly understand the magnitude of what just happened, we have to go back. Way back. Before the chaos. Before the darkness. We need to look at what happened to Jey Uso, and how this moment set the stage for the most unexpected alliance in WWE history. Jey Uso's journey in WWE has been nothing short of legendary. From a tag team powerhouse to one of the most loyal members of the bloodline, Jey's story has been tied to Roman Reigns and the rise of the bloodline for years. He was a loyal soldier, ready to do whatever it took for his family, for Roman, and for the future of WWE. But loyalty is a tricky thing in professional wrestling, and sometimes, that loyalty is tested beyond its limits. Jey Uso's story took a dark turn when he found himself at odds with Roman Reigns. For the longest time, Jey had been the enforcer, the right-hand man in the bloodline, but over time, cracks began to show. Jey, a proud man, began to question his place in Roman's shadow. The tension built, until finally, Jey Uso betrayed Roman Reigns, choosing his own path, one that did not include subservience to the tribal chief. The fallout was brutal. Jey was left alone, abandoned by the very family he had fought for. But what the WWE Universe didn't see coming was that this betrayal would not be met with a simple feud. No, it would lead to the most savage attack on Jey's career. And that's where Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker come into the picture. Seth Rollins, the architect of destruction, had spent years carving his path through WWE, taking on all comers and walking through the wreckage left behind. Rollins had an insatiable hunger for control, and when he saw Jey Uso as a target, he pounced. Alongside him was Braun, a rising star who had proven himself as one of the most physically dominant competitors in WWE. Breakker was a beast, a man who knew how to break bones and break spirits. Together, Rollins and Breakker unleashed a fury on Jey Uso that left him shattered. They pummeled him with everything they had, ensuring that Jey was left with nothing. No family. No friends. No allies. Just pain. But in their quest for dominance, they underestimated one thing: the power of Sami Zayn. The call of redemption. Sami Zayn had been on a path of redemption for months. After his betrayal of Roman Reigns, Sami was left a broken man, cast out of the bloodline, the very faction he had once sworn loyalty to. He was a man without a home, without purpose. But over time, Sami found strength in his struggle. He found a renewed sense of purpose in proving that he was not just a pawn in the game of giants. However, his journey wasn't without its obstacles. The attacks on Sami by Seth Rollins, Braun, and Paul Heyman's faction only fueled his desire for revenge. Sami became more than just a man seeking redemption. He became a symbol of defiance, a force that could no longer be silenced. And on that fateful night, Sami Zayn's fury was unleashed. Sami wasn't just charging to the ring for a rescue mission. No, this was personal. Sami had been brutalized by the same men who were now attacking Jey Uso. And he wasn't about to let it happen again. He was ready to fight. But the true shock came when Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, followed Sami down the ramp. The WWE Universe stood in stunned silence. Roman had been the face of the bloodline, a symbol of dominance for years. But his arrival wasn't the only surprise. Behind Roman stood CM Punk. The voice of the voiceless. A man who had stirred the wrestling world to its core with his return to WWE. Punk and Roman had been on opposite ends of the spectrum for years, with Roman ruling the bloodline and Punk standing as a lone wolf. But now, in the ultimate twist of fate, these two men had come together. Why? Because they shared a common purpose. The formation of the Hounds of Destruction. With the entrance of Roman Reigns and CM Punk, the atmosphere in the arena shifted. There was an energy in the air that had never been seen before. The Hounds of Destruction were born not just out of vengeance, but out of the shared realization that they all had something to prove. Roman Reigns, once the undisputed leader of the bloodline, had been betrayed by his family. But now, with his return to power, Roman had a chance to reclaim his throne, not just as the tribal chief, but as the leader of a new, more powerful faction. A faction that didn't rely on family ties or bloodlines, but on mutual respect and shared fury. CM Punk, the rebel, the man who refused to follow the rules, had seen the rise and fall of many empires in his time. But with Roman by his side, he saw an opportunity to shake up WWE like never before. The voice of the voiceless was ready to be heard again, and this time, it wasn't just about taking down the authority, it was about bringing an entirely new order to the company. And Sami Zayn, once the outcast, had found his place. His passion for redemption and his fury toward his enemies made him a perfect fit for this new brotherhood. He was no longer a lone wolf. He was now part of a pack. Together, they were a force that couldn't be stopped. The Hounds of Destruction were here. And they had come to tear down everything in their path. The fallout and future implications. The impact of this new faction will be felt across WWE for years to come. With Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Sami Zayn united in this powerful alliance, the question becomes, what does this mean for WWE moving forward? The Hounds of Destruction are not just a group of men with a shared vendetta. They represent a new era. They are the reckoning that WWE has been waiting for. Each member brings something unique to the table, whether it's Roman's unrelenting dominance, Punk's rebel spirit, or Sami's passion for redemption. Together, They form a unit unlike any other in WWE history. So, what's next for the Hounds of Destruction? One thing's for certain, they won't be stopping until they've taken control of WWE. Every title, every accolade, every moment, they'll claim it all. The world of WWE is about to change, and the Hounds of Destruction will be at the forefront of that change. And with Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker now at odds with the new faction, expect a battle of epic proportions. The war is just beginning. The storm has just begun. This is just the beginning, folks. The Hounds of Destruction have arrived, and they're not here to play nice. WWE has just entered a new era, and no one is safe. The storm is here. The destruction has only just begun. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to subscribe to Wrestling News CC for all the latest developments in this explosive new chapter of WWE. You won't want to miss a moment of what's coming next. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.